wife and children. So it looks like he didn't follow Krishna's instruction. Is that true? Let's see. Or is it really calling? Was it a clarion call for a change of paradigm? Is it a um, calling for a change in the consciousness? Is that what it is calling for? So let's see. So the explanation, it comes from this verse of Mana Shiksha written by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Let's see. न धर्मं श्रुति गण निरुक्तं किल कुरु व्रजे राधा कृष्ण प्रचुर परिचर्यामिह तनु शचीशूनं नन्दीश्वर पतिसुतत्वे गुरुवरं मुकुन्द प्रेष्टत्वे स्मर परम अजस्रं ननु मन. So here Raghunath Das Goswami is saying that na dharmam kuru, don't perform any dharma. One can be like, you are saying don't perform dharma, then I will be performing adharma. Isn't it sinful? He's saying, na dharmam kuru. No, na adharmam kuru. So he's saying, don't perform dharma. No, don't perform adharma also. Like, how can one perform both? It's impossible. But he's saying that, Braje Radha Krishna Prachura Parichyam Ihatanu. So what it means is that, please perform those activities which are pleasing to Radha and Krishna. That should be the consciousness. Like, instead of seeing it in this way, on this, that is this dharma, is this dharma, is this adharma I should avoid, is this adharma I should avoid, is this dharma I perform. Instead, think in this way, that is this activity will it be pleasing to Radha Krishna? Is that be pleasing to the Lordship? So this is the way one should change their consciousness in terms of performing activities. So that is bhakti. And that is what here Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is saying. So here is a small table which kind of highlights the difference between three categories of people. The first one is materialists or karmis. Second is karma yogis, and third one is bhakti yogi. So, so the first one is, what does the karmi accept? That is ragasya sankalpa, and then he accepts anything which he likes and rejects anything which he dislikes. Raga, dvesha, ichya, dvesha. So that verse of Bhagavad Gita. So whatever a karmi likes, he accepts. Whatever he dislikes, he rejects. And the praman for that is his own self. Like, whatever he decides, that is his proof. Nothing else is needed. But a karma yogi who's within the varnashram dharma, what they do is they accept dharma and then reject adharma. Dharmasya sankalpa, adharmasya varjana. Okay. And the proof for this is dharma shastra. Finally, the category of bhakti yogi. What do they accept? Bhakti anukula. And what do they reject? Bhakti pratikul. Anukul is a sankalpa, pratikul is a varjana. So whatever is anukul for bhakti, that is favorable for bhakti, they accept. Whatever they, which is pratikul, which is unfavorable for bhakti, they reject. So the proof for this is bhakti shastras. So this is the way a bhakti yogi thinks, and the second row that explains how a karma yogi thinks. Okay, so here is a Venn diagram. I mean, we have all studied the Venn diagram in our high school math, probably A intersection B, B intersection C, all that. So here there are two circles, and there is an intersection area here. So the first circle is Varnashram Dharma, and the second circle is bhakti. So the people who fall within the varnashram dharma, they kind of rotate around dharmasya sankalpo, adharmasya varjanam, like what is acceptable for in dharma and accepted, and whatever is unfavorable or adharma rejected. So they rotate around this circle. And then in bhakti, anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam. Whatever is favorable for bhakti, you accept, whatever is unfavorable, you reject. But there can always be a region in which both of them intersect. There can be things that a bhakti yogi does which will look just like a varnashram dharma activity. Let's, for example, take a mother. Okay, a devotee mother can be taking care of the child. At the same time, a Mataji from the varnashram who is performing varnashram dharma, she can be taking care of the children as a Shri dharma. That is the duty of a woman in the family. So activities from the external view can be same, but a bhakti yogi can be taking care in this way, that I want to take care of this child so that they get good impression as they grow in the path of bhakti, and eventually they take up to the path of bhakti. So that can be the mood with which a mother who's a bhakti yogi can be with that consciousness, she can be taking care of the child. But a person from Varnashram Dharma, they can be like, this is my Shri Dharma, my duty as a woman, and I have to do it so that, this activity purifies me. If somebody performs it in that mood, that falls under the category of Varnashram Dharma. Okay, so here is, there can be intersecting things from the point of view of materialist also, because let's say book distribution, people are going out to distribute books, but similarly, a materialist can also be going to distribute some things, like for example, books also, materialistic books, to earn money, and a Varnashrama performing person can also be doing something similar, but ultimately it comes to the consciousness with which they are doing. Okay, so it's the same concept. So now we have seen the difference between different categories, which is people who fall under the materialistic umbrella. Second, the Varnashram following people, and then thirdly, the Bhakti yogis. But what is the basis of Varnashram Dharma? Where is it originating from? So in the second chapter, Sutta Goswami, from the first canto Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, Dharmaha swanishtaha pumsam vishpaksena katasu yaha notpadayate padayed yati ratim shrama yevahi kevalam. So what he says is that Varnashram Dharma of the human beings, which does not produce attraction for the Lord, is only a base effort. Shrama yevahi kevalam. So if what this means is that Varnashram Dharma is centered around Vishnu worship, because by performing Varnashram Dharma, if one does not come to the point of surrendering to the Supreme Lord, which does not produce attraction for the Lord's activities and pastimes, name, form, qualities, and activities, then that thing is a complete wasted effort. Shrama yevihi kevalam. So this is the proof that Varnashram is centered around Vishnu worship. Okay, so here is a same concept explained in a slightly blown up scale. So this is a disc, Varnashram disc, and you can see there are different categories here. In the very middle, there is Shuddha Bhakti. Okay, everybody here, the Karma Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi, Jnana Yogi, everybody is rotating around this center point, which is Vishnu Bhakti. So Shuddha Bhakti, that is Anyabhilashita Shunyam. Okay, so Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, that is the Shuddha Bhakti. And then there is two categories of Karma Yoga and two categories of the Yoga Mishra, sorry, the Ashtanga Yoga and then Jnana Yoga. So the inner circle, the outside the Shuddha Bhakti, these three are called Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, which is Bhakti element is predominant. Okay, the one outside the Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, these are Guni Bhuta Bhakti, where Bhakti is secondary. So, for example, when Krishna talks in the chapter 3, 5 about Karma Yoga, he's actually talking about this category, where, that is Guni Bhuta Bhakti. And then Ashtanga Yoga, I think it comes in the chapter 6, and chapter 4 is Jnana Yoga. And then the inner circle is where you have much more inclination towards Bhakti. So then it becomes Karma Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, and Jnana Mishra Bhakti. And then the very middle is the Shuddha Bhakti. So now this is the disc which is describing different sections of the Varnashram. Okay, so now does the Shastras recommend that everyone within this Varnashram system perform Varnashram duties? Let's see what is prescribed in the Dharma Shastras itself. Let's see first Jnana Yogi. So this is the verse from chapter 3. So I'll just go through the translations. The human who is attracted to the Atma, satisfied in the Atma, and completely satisfied with the Atma alone, has nothing to do in regard to fulfilling desires. Tasya karyam na vidyate. Excuse me. So here it is talking about a Jnana Yogi, who is completely satisfied with himself, and such a person does not have any reason to perform this karmakandic activity. So basically, he doesn't have to perform. This is what Krishna is saying in the chapter 3. What about Ashtanga Yogi? So let's see in chapter 6 what Krishna says. For the sage wishing to attain yoga arurokshor munaye. Action is to be cause of elevation. Karma karanam uchyate. For the sage who has already attained yoga, cessation of action is said to be the cause of maintaining that state. So what this means is a yogi, an Ashtanga yogi who hasn't been completely purified. that is the Arurukshor stage. He is recommended to perform this karma to elevate to the next stage. But a person who has already achieved that stage, Yoga Arudha stage, then he doesn't have to perform any karmas. That is the recommendation given in Bhagavad Gita itself. Okay. Now let's see what the Bhakti Yogi has to do. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishyami Masucha. So here, give up all the dharmas, surrender to me alone. So Krishna is saying that Bhakti Yogi, you don't have to do anything. Just perform the Navvidha Bhakti and I will take care of the rest. So this is the recommendation given by Krishna. So we saw three categories of people, the Jnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi and Bhakti Yogi. So none of them, if you see, are recommended to perform any karma activities. So the only 1/4 of the Varnashrama category, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, the ashrama in the ashramas is recommended to perform Varnashrama itself, because the rest are all not qualified for performing Varma. They don't have to do any karmakandic activities. Okay. So what is the role of Varnashrama prescribed duties? Why does people do that? The only 1/4 of that ashrama section who are performing that, what is the purpose of performing the Varnashrama prescribed duties? That is for purification. That is the purpose. Like we saw in the beginning, the flow chart, the reason for performing Varnashrama duties is for purification. So here, there is a purport by Srila Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita, verse 3.4. The renounced order of life can be accepted when one has purified by discharge of the prescribed form of duties. Prescribed form of duties is Varnashram Dharma. Because who is prescribing here? The Vedas. The Vedas prescribe Varnashram Dharma, which are laid down just to purify the hearts of materialistic men. Purify the hearts of materialistic men. Okay. Without purification, one cannot attain success by abruptly adopting the fourth order of life. So here Srila Prabhupada is saying that without purification, one cannot take sannyas. In the traditional Varnashram Dharma, one is not qualified for taking sannyas unless one is purified in heart by performing the Varnashram Dharma. So this is the purpose of Varnashram prescribed duties, which is for the purification. So let's see what the Bhakti Yogi does to perform purification. How does a Bhakti Yogi get purified? Which is Cheto Darpana Marjana, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that performing, Navvidha Bhakti, that purifies the mirror of the mind, Cheto Darpana Marjana. So there is another verse here in Bhagavad Gita. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat chantim nigachati kaunteya prajidanihi name bhaktah pranashati. This is one of my favorite verses in Bhagavad Gita. So here, this is the translation by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and the purport is also from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Sarada Varshini. So he says that very quickly he becomes a righteous person, who the Bhakti Yogi, and he completely and becomes completely devoid of contamination. O son of Kunti, you declare that my devotees never perish. So Krishna is saying that, remember that my devotee, he will quickly become a righteous person and become completely devoid of contaminations. So he's asking Arjun to go and declare boldly to everyone that this is the case. So I have a couple of points from the purport. Let's see what they are. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is writing that how he's giving the perspective of a critic. That critic is saying to Krishna that how can you accept the worship of such a sinful person? How can he eat the food and the drink offered by a heart contaminated with lust and anger? Like, Krishna, you are devotee. His heart is fully contaminated with lust and anger. How can you accept his offering? Krishna is saying that very quickly he becomes righteous. You don't worry about it. I will take him. Then he's saying the present, here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that the present tense is used, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma, Bhavati is used, and not the future, to express that having committed sin, by remembering the Lord, he becomes repentant and thus very quickly becomes righteous. Oh, how unfortunate I am. There is no one as low as I bringing bad name to the devotees. So a true devotee, what they feel is regret, because their own conditioning, it does not, it doesn't go so easily. They try so hard, but still there are times then and there in which they slip and they might commit sinful activities, and they feel so much repentant, and they feel that I am the one who is bringing such a bad name to the devotees. In this way, they feel so much repentance. So here, so repeatedly, Shashwat, he feels completely disgust for those actions. So he feels regret for having performed these kind of activities. So or the use of present tense can indicate that in the future he will develop righteousness fully, but even right now it exists in a subtle form. So there are two different reasons which are being given that why present tense is used. Either he is currently only he is righteous, or he will quickly become righteous in the future, but the righteousness exists in a subtle form even now. Like for example, after taking medicine, the destructive effects of fever or poison remains for some time. It is not considered serious. It is not considered seriously. Okay, like if you take medicine, it takes some time before the effects of the medicine starts working in, and it starts manifesting in the body. But the medicine has gone inside, so trust it. So thus, with the entrance of bhakti in his mind, the sinful actions are not taken so seriously. So a person who is true bhakti yogi, he regrets performing sinful activities or accidental slips, and by performing the sincere performance of bhakti, his mind becomes purified, and this is the guarantee that Krishna is giving. Okay, and the traces of sins such as lust and anger should be considered insignificant, like the biting of a toothless snake. Thus, he attains complete cessation of lust and anger permanently. This means that even during the stage of having a tendency to commit sin, he has a pure heart. So here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, even at the stage of having the tendency to commit sin, still he has pure heart. Okay, so now again the critic, he's complaining that if he eventually becomes righteous, there would be no argument, Krishna. Okay, you are saying that he will become purified, but what happens if your devotee is sinful right up until his death? What is his position then? He dies as a sinful person. He performs bhakti, but all the sinful tendencies hasn't gone, and he dies. Then what? He's not purified, right? Then the Krishna becomes angry. He says that the Lord, affectionate to his devotees, then speaks loudly with little anger. O son of Kunti, my devotee is not destroyed at the time of death. He does not fall. Okay. Krishna says that he doesn't have to worry at the time of death also. But the arguers with harsh tongue will not accept this. Krishna then encourages the worried and lamenting Arjuna. Oh, Kaunteya, going to the squabbling assembly with a tumultuous sound of drums, throwing your hands in the air, you should fearlessly declare this. Declare what? Arjuna is asking. Declare that my devotee, the devotee of the Supreme Lord, though committing sin, does not perish, rather reaches success. So Krishna is giving guarantee that a pure devotee who is performing Navada Bhakti, even if he has sinful tendencies, he will achieve success in the consecutive lifetimes. And one should not, what this means is one should not be going to any prayachita activities just because they have sinful activities or committed sins, and then try to get rid of those sins. That is not recommended. Here is the proof that Krishna is the proof of Krishna's guarantee. Okay. All right. So here are a couple of verses. These are all from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Srila Rupa Goswami is giving proofs for the very initial verse, the Anunushtano Dosho, the Bhakti Anganam, and that verse we saw. So the proofs are here. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is saying to, I think, Uddhavji, Sve Sve Adhikare Yanishta Sagunaha Parikirtitaha Viparyas tu Doshaha Syad Ubayor Yesha Nishchayaha. So Sve Sve Adhikare Yanishta. That means that steadiness in one's own position is declared to be actual piety, whereas deviation from one's position is considered impiety. So steadiness in one's own position means what? If one is a Bhakti Adhikari, following the recommendations given in Bhakti Shastra, that is the right way. And if one is a Karma Adhikari, following the recommendations in Dharma Shastra, that is the right way. That is declared to be actual piety. Piety actually doesn't mean the pious thing, but whatever is appropriate for one's own position, that is the right thing to do. Okay, so at this point, one can have this doubt in mind that there are so many different instances in our shastras where shastric personalities have performed like Nitya Naimika karmas. Like for example, Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan, he has performed the Pindadan, those kind of things. to his father, or even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to Prayag to perform some rites for his departed brother, all that. So how to accept, how to understand these things? So the answer to this is that first of all, we should see the explanations that the acharyas give, and coming we should, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we should only see the explanations given by Gaudiya Vaishnava acharyas, because those are applicable to us. And if for example, this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu going to Prayag for performing certain ritualistic rites, if you see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in the purport, he has, in the consecutive verses, he has clearly explained that this is done in a way to, confuse the smarta brahmanas who are there. So one should not be just reading the verses and then saying that, oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, then I am a follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I should also be doing this thing. No, because we should be reading from our Acharya's writing and then following what exactly they are saying about the verses which are given in the Shastras. So a verse which is given in the Shastras is absolutely right, but the explanation given by the Acharyas is what is applicable to us. So this is very, very important to understand it this way. Okay, I think we are very close to the end of the session, so I'll just quickly go through some of the important verses. So the next one I want to talk about is this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyate yavata mat kata shravanadavva shraddha yavanna jayate. So one should continue to perform the Vedic ritualistic rites, tavat karmani kurvita, until one becomes detached from material sense gratification, or and develops faith for hearing and chanting about me. So until one becomes detached from material sense gratification means what? That is, one takes up to the stage of Jnana Yoga. If you have become detached from, achieved this mentality of complete detachment from material sense gratification, here and is used, but or can also be used. Or one develops faith for hearing and chanting about me. Mat Katha Shravanadava. That is, when one takes up to bhakti, one has the bhakti adhikar for pure devotional service. At that point, one can stop performing these Vedic ritualistic rites. So this is what Srimad Bhagavatam says. And then Devashri. So yeah, we'll get to the end. So here, finally, this has to be said. All said and done, Srila Prabhupada did say 50% of his mission is establishing Varnashram Dharma. This is recorded in several purports. Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that devotees, they should set up the Varnashram system, all that. And so how do we understand this thing? This is very, very important point. And I'm just going to present whatever I have understood. And of course, there are many, many differences in opinion here. But it is extremely important to have one mentality in our mind, which is, Srila Prabhupada, he is our bona fide founding Acharya. What that means is he will be saying instructions in line with our previous Acharyas. There will be absolutely no deviation from what the previous Acharyas have mentioned. So, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is a verse clearly saying that Varnashram Dharma is not considered an Anga of Bhakti, right? This is not considered an Anga of Bhakti. So, how can we understand Srila Prabhupada's instructions here? It is establishing Varnashram. There are a couple of possible reasons. Here I am giving three. Establishing Varnashram institution as a stepping stone for outsiders to take up to Shuddha Bhakti. So here, this is from a conversation between Srila Prabhupada and His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So that is, if devotees who are pure devotional, who are performing pure devotional service, if we establish the institution of Varnashram Dharma, what happens is it will be easier for outside materialists to take up to that path and slowly come up to the stage of Shuddha Bhakti. The next reason is accepting Varnashrama occupations in the mood of Anukulyasa Sankalpa. That is, as an alternative to Ugra Karma lifestyle. That is, working in, very high demand work. It just agitates the mind a lot. And if we follow some of the Varnashrama occupational, things, living a very simplified life, for example, like a cow farm or something like that. So those will be extremely conducive for performing devotional service. So that is one other possibility. And finally, why should Krishna consciousness movement be only restricted to those with Anya-abhilashita shunyam? That is, even those who have tendency to enjoy some level of material enjoyment desires are there, or those who consider them to be goals, they can still be inclusive. Our movement can be inclusive for those devotees also. Okay, so here are proofs for each one of these statements. There can be many, many more, but these are all what I could understand. Okay, so that's all I want to share. So at this point, I will stop, and devotees, this is extremely important point, what I just mentioned. And if devotees could bring up some discussion points, that will be great. We can all, learn from each other. So that's the whole purpose. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for doing a lot of research. Seemed like a Sunday feast with all the preparation you did. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll let the devotees take on. I have to get going for a service. I'm sorry I have to leave, but please, thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Very nice presentation, Jaya, Nitai, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Lot of, like Jayasichanand Prabhu said, lot of effort, lot of research. Very nice. You've taken the presentation to a whole new level. I really enjoyed hearing about Varnashram Dharma. Very deep research you've done on Srila Prabhupada's writing.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much for narrating Varnashrama and everything, and especially the letters are very good, different colors and different size is very nice, and that is very nice to see the language, everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. It was a very nice presentation. You elucidated everything very nicely with the presentation mode and giving praman for everything, and a lot of take-home points, and it's really very interesting and very knowledgeable, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Jaya, Nitai, Prabhu. Very wonderful presentation. As Prabhu said, shorter and longer rope to, and like you covered very in detail. I can say a lot of insights, Varnas and Vedic injunctions, duties, responsibilities, and from the gradual and the direct path. Very well presented, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam, Jai Shila Prabhu. I joined very late, Prabhuji, but it was summary, and although answering the question and then helping us to understand the topic that you are discussing, it was very helpful and very beautifully explained, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Hi, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
It's a wonderful presentation, Prabhu, or Varnashram Dharma, and how it is relevant, or what is the context of Varnashram Dharma in terms of bhakti. It's very beautiful, Prabhu. I think this also elaborated very nicely by Srila Bhagavan Thakur in Jaya Dharma as well. Initial chapters very beautifully explained that. Oh, but yeah, thank you so much for putting this wonderful presentation, Prabhu. It's always a pleasure to hear. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hey, all success. Bhakti Yoga Ki Jai. Take care. You all at temple, please come. Karan Prabhu is going to be there and speak and chant. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Okay, Prabhuji, I think we can stop the session.
Yes, sure. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.